The crystal hall of SCIFI-Prime was brighter than any sun the galaxy had ever seen. Light bounced off the polished walls, refracting into colors that no one planet had in its natural skies. The Grand Council of the galaxy had gathered, representatives from hundreds of civilizations all present. They had come to witness something unusual, something that had never happened before in the history of interstellar politics. The topic on the table was humans. For centuries, the humans had been quiet. They had expanded their territory, then stopped. They had fought wars long ago, but now they kept to themselves, rarely communicating with other species. To the galaxy, they seemed small, weak, and forgotten. Most called them obsolete, outdated, inefficient. Yet here they were, suddenly in the spotlight again. The Varl Dominion, a proud and aggressive species with fleets that spanned hundreds of light years, had demanded control over former human colonies. These colonies had been abandoned centuries ago, but the Dominion had discovered resources they wanted, and they assumed humanity would not respond. The humans responded politely, with a simple message: "We will show you what obsolete truly means." That message sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Many laughed. Some sneered. Others grew uneasy. After all, humans were a small species with ships considered relics even among themselves. What could they possibly do? In the Grand Hall, representatives whispered among themselves. The Kiran ambassador tapped her long fingers against the crystal railing. "They are extinct," she said. "I've studied human history. Their fleet is ancient. Their technology is primitive. This is nothing." The Toller, a six-eyed race known for their calm demeanor, shook their heads. "Do not underestimate them. Even the smallest flame can burn a forest." The Varl representative, massive and horned, laughed, shaking his broad shoulders. "Primitive fleets. They will be destroyed. We need only show force. Then the humans will bow." Across the hall, a holographic projection of the solar system flickered into view. Earth, a blue and green jewel, seemed small compared to the fleets of the galaxy's empires. Yet something about the planet seemed alive. The council members stared longer than necessary, a strange feeling creeping into even the most confident species. The humans had requested a demonstration on the edge of the Sol system, a neutral zone, far from any other empire's control. The council debated for hours, unsure if it was a threat or a simple display. When the day finally arrived, all eyes turned toward Sol. Armadas from dozens of species positioned themselves in observation ranges. Long-range sensors scanned for activity. Nothing moved at first. Just the quiet hum of the void, the spinning planets, and the distant sun. Then a signal appeared on every council channel. It was brief, simple, unmistakable. "Fleet unveiling begins." The first human ship emerged from the solar gate. It was massive, even by ancient human standards. Its hull was covered in markings that had been used in wars hundreds of years ago. Faded blue stripes wrapped around its sides, and bold letters spelled UNSC, Obsolete Fleet Unit. The alien observers laughed. It looked old, rusty even, primitive. The Kiran ambassador snorted. "Is this a ship?" she whispered. "It looks like a museum exhibit." The humans did not respond. They had never needed to. Their ships moved with precision, as if every second of their flight was calculated long before the aliens had built their fleets. Then another ship appeared. And another. Soon dozens filled the void near Sol. Hundreds. The so-called obsolete fleet stretched across the horizon, gleaming in the light of the sun. From the observation deck of the human command station, a human officer looked out at the fleet. "All units status check, engines online, weapon systems ready, shield stable." The officer nodded. "Good, let them watch." Let them wonder. In the council hall, murmurs turned into alarm. These ships were old. They had been retired decades ago. Yet their energy readings were off the charts. Every sensor in the galaxy screamed. These were not just old ships, they were powerful. Terrifyingly powerful. The Varl representative's horns quivered with anger. "This is impossible. Their fleet should be inferior. How can this be?" The human representative appeared on the main projection, standing calmly aboard the flagship. A simple uniform, no extravagant insignia, just the quiet confidence of a species that had faced extinction and survived. "Welcome," the human said. "We understand your surprise. These vessels are obsolete. They have served their time, but we thought you might like to see what humans consider outdated." A taller scientist leaned forward. These readings, these weapons, they should not function this well. Not without massive energy output. And yet, efficiency, the human replied simply. We learned long ago that war is wasteful. These ships are old, yes, but they are precise. Every cannon, every shield, every maneuver has been perfected through centuries of experience. We built them to last and to win. And we did. The demonstration began. Human ships powered their cannons, sending a pulse into a nearby asteroid field. The rock shattered into dust before alien eyes. Another shot and the remaining asteroids vaporized. The Kirin ambassador was speechless. Even the most skeptical members of the council could not deny what they saw. These ships, old as they were, had power far beyond modern fleets. The humans continued, firing at holographic enemy formations created by the council for the demonstration. Every shot was calculated, every move precise. Ships twisted and turned, weaving through obstacles, destroying simulated fleets with unmatched skill. The laughter that had filled the hall earlier vanished. Shock and awe replaced it. The human representative's voice returned over the council channels. Calm, controlled, confident. That was only the warm-up, they said. A chill passed through the assembly. They had underestimated humans for centuries, and now humans were showing why that was a mistake. The young Varl cadet whispered to his superior, They are showing us the past? The superior's voice trembled. No, they are showing us the present. And the future, we have judged them poorly, terribly poorly. In the observation decks near Sol, humans watched the reactions across the galaxy. Some species were wide-eyed, some pale with fear, some quietly nodded with respect. Humans did not gloat. They never had. Their pride was not in fear but in proof. They had survived, they had learned, and now they reminded the galaxy why they were never to be ignored. The council debated. Some wanted to attack immediately, to destroy what they considered a threat. Others, wiser, suggested caution. None could decide. All agreed on one thing. Humanity was not weak. The sun set behind Sul, casting long shadows across the fleet. The humans powered down their weapons, letting the silence speak for them. The galaxy had been warned and no one dared to move first. A small human officer stood on the bridge looking at the vast ships around him. They still think we are primitive, he said softly. The admiral beside him smiled. Let them think. Soon they will learn. But for now we wait, and so the first day ended. The galaxy had seen the obsolete human fleet. They had laughed. They had doubted. And they had been shown that humanity's past was far stronger than anyone had imagined. Whispers filled the galaxy. What else have humans hidden? What power lies behind the guise of obsolete? No one knew yet. But the answer would come, and when it did, the galaxy would never be the same. The first human ship had already appeared at the edge of the Sol system, an ancient vessel with faded paint and bold letters, UNSC, Obsolete Fleet Unit. The galaxy's armadas had watched it quietly, expecting nothing. They expected rusted hulls and fragile weapons. They expected failure. Instead, they saw precision. The ship glided across space with a grace that no alien fleet could match. Its engines burned with a deep, steady light. Every motion was deliberate, every maneuver perfect. It was old, but it was alive. Then another appeared. And another. Within minutes, dozens of ships filled the empty void, hundreds of them stretching beyond the sight of any single fleet. They were arranged in patterns, geometric shapes that humans had perfected for war centuries ago. The aliens could not believe it. Some gasped. Some whispered nervously. Some laughed at first, only to stop when they realized the ships were perfectly functional. From the observation deck of the human flagship, the admiral watched calmly. He had been here before. He had seen doubt, fear, and underestimation countless times in the galaxy, and he knew it was about to end. Prepare the fleet for demonstration, the admiral ordered. His voice was calm, steady. There was no arrogance, only quiet confidence. Shield stable. Weapons online. Engines ready, replied his officer. The first target appeared, a cluster of asteroids near the outer orbit of Mars. It was a simple test, but to the watching fleets it would be a lesson. The humans activated their weapons. Cannons that looked decades old powered up with a deep hum. A pulse of energy struck the nearest asteroid. The rock shattered, sending fragments spinning through space. A second shot reduced another asteroid to dust. The alien sensors struggled to keep up. A Varl Dominion captain shouted in disbelief. That shouldn't be possible. Their weapons, they are tearing apart matter with ease. The human admiral's voice came over the communication channels. Calm, controlled. You are witnessing weapons designed for efficiency and precision. They are not the newest, but they are effective. The Chiron ambassador pressed her claws against her console. I don't understand. These ships are old. Their weapons should be obsolete. Why are they so powerful? Because humans do not rely solely on technology, the Tolar observer whispered to her neighbor. They rely on skill, experience, discipline. That is something no amount of new tech can replace. The demonstration continued. Human ships moved with smooth coordination, weaving between asteroids, dodging debris, and firing in perfect synchrony. Each shot destroyed its target without waste, each maneuver precise. It was a dance of destruction, and the aliens could only watch in awe. The first wave of aliens began to understand something important. These humans had fought wars that stretched across centuries. They had survived impossible odds. They had faced extinction and returned stronger. That history was etched into every ship, every cannon, every shield. Then the humans did something unexpected. They activated holographic projections of enemy fleets, simulated enemies created by the Council itself for observation. The human ships advanced, breaking formation only to strike from multiple angles. Each simulated ship was destroyed before it could even fire. A Tolar scientist gasped. They are showing no mercy. Yet there is no chaos. Every move is calculated. Every strike is perfect. Their past experience is guiding them. The Varl Dominion ambassador's horns shook in anger and disbelief. This is impossible. These ships are old. They should be weak. The human admiral's voice remained calm, obsolete by our standards, but still effective. We no longer build fleets like these. They were retired because we value peace, not because they were weak. The Chiron ambassador leaned forward, wide-eyed. Peace. They could destroy us in moments, yet they seek peace. The human officer on the bridge of the flagship smiled quietly. Yes, humans learned long ago that victory is meaningless without restraint. We fight only when necessary. We have survived because we know when not to fight. For a moment, the aliens could not move. Their pride, their arrogance, their assumptions of superiority, all crumbled before them. They had called humans obsolete. They had mocked them. And now they saw the truth. The humans' past was a weapon no one could ignore. The human fleet continued to move, showcasing formations and maneuvers that seemed almost impossible. Ships twisted in three-dimensional spirals, then split into smaller units to attack targets simultaneously from multiple angles. Alien sensors were overwhelmed, failing to track all the simultaneous strikes. A Varl officer whispered to his superior, shaking. These are ghosts from the past. Their fleet. It is history, and yet it moves as if alive. Not history, the superior said, voice trembling. Experience, discipline. Humanity has survived wars that would have destroyed any other species. That power, it is not gone. It is preserved. The humans did not speak of pride. They did not boast. They did not laugh at the astonishment around them. They simply showed what they had. What they could do. Then came the final demonstration. The humans formed a massive circle with their ships, a ring so large that it could have enclosed an entire planet. Energy fields formed, pushing and pulling with immense force, simulating the defense of a colony under siege. Aliens gasped as smaller ships moved inside the circle, dodging invisible forces and striking targets with unerring precision. The Varl Dominion ambassador slammed his fist on the console. Enough, these are ancient relics. This cannot be. We demand they cease. The human admiral replied evenly, without anger. We will stop when we choose to, not when you demand it. A deep silence fell over the observation decks. The alien fleets could no longer laugh. They could no longer mock. They could only watch, stunned and amazed, as humans demonstrated the deadly efficiency of their obsolete fleet. Then, without warning, the humans powered down their weapons. The massive fleet formed a silent formation, ships aligned with perfect precision, engines glowing softly in the darkness of space. It was a display of control, not chaos. The Chiron ambassador whispered. They could have destroyed us all in moments. Yet they chose not to. Yes, said the Toller scientist, still in shock. They fight only when necessary. They have survived for centuries because they understand that restraint is power. The Varl Dominion ambassador growled, but even he could not deny the truth. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not obsolete. Humanity was something else entirely. The human admiral turned to his officers. Secure the fleet. Begin return to base. Return to base? One young officer asked. After that demonstration? The admiral nodded. Yes, let them think. Let them wonder. Knowledge of our power is one thing. Understanding it is another. And the galaxy has not yet learned what it means to face humanity. As the fleet began to retreat towards Sol, alien fleets followed at a cautious distance, unable to hide their curiosity. Questions swirled in every mind. How many ships did humanity truly have? What other technologies did they possess? How far had humans advanced beyond what the galaxy knew? A young human officer watched the distant alien fleets, her eyes thoughtful. Do you think they understand? She asked quietly. The admiral smiled, eyes on the stars. Not yet, but they will. And when they do, it will change everything. In the silent void, the human ships glided smoothly, ancient, obsolete, forgotten by history, yet alive with power, skill, and the quiet strength of a species that had endured and thrived against impossible odds. The galaxy had witnessed the first lesson. The humans were not weak. They were not insignificant. They were survivors, masters of their past, and guardians of a power that no one yet fully understood. And as the stars of Sol shimmered in the distance, one thought echoed across the fleets. If this is what humans consider obsolete, what might their future hold? The answer would come. But not yet. For now, the galaxy could only stare in awe. The Sol system had never been so crowded. Alien fleets hovered at the edge of human space, each vessel carefully observing the ships humans called obsolete. The galaxy had laughed at them, doubted them, and even mocked them. Yet after the demonstration, every fleet was silent, staring with growing unease. In the human command station, the admiral looked out at the stars. The obsolete fleet had returned from its demonstration orbit. Engines glowed faintly, weapons offline, formations precise. Outside, the solar winds shimmered across the hulls of ancient vessels. To most alien eyes, they were relics. To humans, they were proof. The alien observers were restless. They demanded answers. The Varl Dominion, Kirin, and Toller representatives requested a full briefing. The humans agreed. A massive holographic projection filled the observation room, showing the schematics, histories, and technical specifications of the ancient fleet. The council representatives gasped. What they saw challenged everything they had believed about humans. These ships, the human officer explained, pointing to an enormous vessel, are considered obsolete. They were retired decades ago. Yet every system remains functional, every weapon optimized, and every maneuver refined. A Varl officer growled, tapping at his console. Functional, yes. But why does their energy output surpass our most modern fleets? These weapons, these shields, none of our current technology compares. The human officer smiled faintly. Efficiency. Humans do not rely on sheer energy. We rely on precise calculations, discipline, and centuries of experience. A cannon fired with perfect timing can be more powerful than thousands of shots fired blindly. We learned long ago that mastery outweighs raw force. The Kirin ambassador leaned forward, studying the holographic projections. And these ships? Their armor? This alloy. How have you preserved it for centuries? Even the most advanced materials in the galaxy degrade faster than this. The officer nodded. It is an alloy developed during the old wars, reinforced with layered composites and stabilized with energy fields. It is not perfect by modern standards, but it is resilient. It can withstand attacks that would destroy contemporary vessels. This fleet was built to last and endure wars that spanned decades, the council murmured. Every representative felt the shift in understanding. These humans, long considered weak and primitive, had survived wars that the galaxy could not have imagined. Their fleet was a living history, proof of a species that had mastered war and had chosen peace. The Toller scientist asked cautiously, "If these ships are so capable, why have you not used them against any threat in centuries?" The human admiral spoke calmly. Because humans learned an important lesson. Victory means nothing without restraint. We could have conquered the galaxy centuries ago. We could have wiped out every enemy with ease. Instead, we chose to survive, to observe, and to grow. We retired this fleet not because it was weak, but because humanity's focus changed. Silence filled the council room. The aliens struggled to comprehend the words. A species that had mastered war, that possessed weapons and ships capable of unrivaled destruction, had chosen peace voluntarily. That concept was alien to every civilization present. A Kirin diplomat whispered, they could have ruled the galaxy. Yet they chose. What, restraint? Yes, said the Tolar observer. And the power of restraint is often greater than the power of aggression. That is something few species truly understand. The humans continued to display their fleet. Holographic projections showed simulated attacks, tests of resilience and efficiency calculations. Every strike, every maneuver, every defensive tactic was documented. The aliens could not hide their astonishment. Even the most sophisticated sensors in the galaxy could not capture the precision and discipline of these obsolete vessels. Then came the demonstration of adaptability. The humans activated simulated enemy formations that changed dynamically, reacting to every move of the fleet. The ancient ships adjusted instantaneously, adapting to unexpected attacks with fluidity and precision. A Varl officer exclaimed, "They anticipate every move. Their ships obsolete or not predict the future of the battle as it happens." The human admiral's voice remained calm. "We do not predict the future. We learn from the past. Every engagement, every encounter, every mistake is recorded, analyzed, and taught to the next generation. The knowledge is embedded in our fleet. That is why even a ship retired for centuries can outperform modern vessels. It carries the experience of the human species itself." The council's astonishment grew. They began to understand something essential. Humans were not merely survivors, they were masters of strategy, endurance, and adaptability. Then the humans revealed a secret the galaxy had not known, the fleet's hidden capabilities. Energy projections displayed the ship's offensive and defensive ranges, showing capabilities far beyond what any alien had expected. Shields that could absorb entire waves of attack, weapons that could target dozens of points simultaneously, propulsion systems that allowed maneuvers previously thought impossible. The Kirin ambassador's eyes widened. "These ships, they are a myth made real. Even our top engineers cannot reproduce this." The human officer nodded. "That is why we retired them. Not because they were weak, but because humanity's focus had shifted. These ships exist to remind us of what we can do, not to wage endless war. Humanity values creation over destruction now." The Tolar scientists studied the holographic schematics. But if such a fleet exists and if humans are willing to demonstrate it, what does this mean for the galaxy? The human admiral looked out at the assembled representatives. "It means that the galaxy should understand two things. First, humans are not weak. Second, power alone is meaningless. Restraint, wisdom, and cooperation define true strength." For a long moment, no one spoke. Every representative, every officer, every observer stared in silence at the humans' obsolete fleet. The lesson was clear. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for centuries. That mistake could not be repeated. A young Kirin officer finally broke the silence. "And your current fleet, how does it compare?" The human officer smiled faintly. "Our current fleet is not meant for war. It exists for defense, research, and exploration, but it is far beyond anything you have ever imagined. That, however, is not part of today's demonstration." The Varl Dominion ambassador growled in frustration. "This is arrogance. You flaunt power you refuse to use." "No," the human admiral said calmly. "We demonstrate responsibility. We show capability without threat. That is the difference between humans and other species. We understand that power is meaningless without wisdom to guide it." The council slowly realized the implication. The humans had survived, thrived, and advanced without conquering others. They had learned lessons the galaxy had ignored. And now, with even their obsolete fleet, they commanded respect not by aggression, but by skill and knowledge. The Kirin ambassador whispered, "They could destroy entire fleets in moments, yet they choose not to. They are something else entirely." "Yes," said the Tolar scientist. "Not merely powerful, masterful, and restrained. That combination is dangerous if misused, admirable if understood." The human officer concluded the briefing. "We have shared our past with you. Consider it a lesson. The obsolete fleet is not a threat, it is a reminder. Remember what humanity has endured, what we have learned, and what we can do. Do not mistake restraint for weakness. As the holographic displays faded, silence filled the room. Every representative was left with the same thought. Humans were not to be underestimated. Their past was a weapon. Their present was discipline. Their future was unknown. The Varl Dominion ambassador finally spoke, voice low and tense. If this is only their obsolete fleet, what else have they hidden? The human admiral did not answer. He simply watched the galaxy, calm and confident. Let them wonder, he said quietly to his officers. The galaxy is not ready to understand us fully, but one day they will. Outside the command station, the ancient ships floated in formation, silent, still, powerful beyond measure. They were relics, yes, but also proof. Proof that humans had survived, adapted, and mastered challenges the galaxy could not imagine. And as the sun of Sol shone across the fleet, one truth became clear to every observer. The human's past was not weak. It was a foundation, a warning, a promise, and the galaxy had only just begun to learn its meaning. The galaxy had spent centuries under the illusion that humans were weak, a species small and unimportant. Even now, after the demonstration of the obsolete fleet, many alien civilizations struggled to accept the truth. Yet humanity had only begun to show its strength. The Council's fleets hovered near the outer edge of the Sol system, their sensors scanning every ship, every formation. Every representative whispered among themselves, trying to comprehend what they had witnessed. Then came the second demonstration. The human admiral stood aboard the flagship, calm as always. Prepare the fleets, he said to his officers. It is time to show them the hidden power. A young officer hesitated. Sir, they already saw our obsolete fleet. Are you certain we should demonstrate more? The admiral smiled faintly. They have seen only what is old. Now they will see what lies behind it. Let them witness restraint, discipline, and ingenuity combined. At his command, the ships began to move, slowly at first, then faster, weaving into formations the galaxy had never seen. The humans did not speak. They did not signal their intentions to the alien observers. Yet every movement was precise, deliberate, and coordinated as if guided by a single mind. From the dark side of Jupiter's orbit, something massive began to stir. It was almost invisible to the alien sensors at first, a shadow against the gas giant. Then it moved, and the Council gasped. It was the Ark, a colossal automated shipyard built during humanity's long-forgotten wars. It had been dormant for centuries, a relic of a time when humanity had fought wars across stars. Now it was alive again. The Ark's surface shifted, revealing bays and docking stations, repair units, and hidden energy fields. Ancient cranes and robotic systems moved with surprising speed, lifting vessels, repairing hulls, and upgrading weapons. What had once taken weeks or months now happened in minutes. The observation fleets struggled to comprehend the scale. A Kiran diplomat whispered, "It is a factory? A shipyard? In motion?" "Yes," said the Tolar scientist. "And it is ancient. This structure predates most current empires, yet it functions perfectly. Its capabilities are beyond comprehension." The human admiral's voice came over the Council channels, calm, measured, unyielding. "Observe. This is not only a fleet. It is infrastructure. It is organization. It is a species capable of maintaining power over centuries, without conquest, without destruction. This is the hidden strength of humanity." As the Ark moved, human ships were lifted and upgraded within its bays. Ancient vessels received minor adjustments, reactors tuned, shields strengthened, weapons calibrated, and then, without warning, the entire fleet accelerated. Alien sensors struggled to track the movement. In moments, the fleet had disappeared from the Sol system entirely, leaving the alien armada stunned. The humans had folded space. Every representative stared at their screens in disbelief. Faster-than-light movement, precise and instantaneous, executed by ships centuries old. Even the most advanced fleets had never demonstrated this capability in such a coordinated manner. A Varl Dominion officer banged his fists on his console. This is impossible. We have monitored every human ship for decades. None of them had this capability." The human admiral's voice remained calm. "It is not impossible. It is preparation. We do not show everything at once. We reveal power in increments, allowing the galaxy to understand its significance. The fleet reappeared near the Council's observation point, perfectly aligned in formation. Not a single ship was out of place. The galaxy's armadas could only stare, silent and astonished. The humans had done more than demonstrate old ships. They had revealed strategy, ingenuity, and coordination on a scale the galaxy had never imagined. They had shown that humanity's strength was not in size, not in new technology alone, but in the ability to organize, adapt, and master what they already had. The Chiron ambassador's claws tapped nervously on her console. This is beyond anything our scientists predicted. Faster than light folding, fleet coordination, the arc. She shook her head. How can a species so small accomplish this? The human officer replied simply, because size is irrelevant. Understanding, experience, and innovation define true power. Humans have mastered these, and that is why the galaxy must respect us. The council representatives whispered urgently among themselves. Even the proudest species had been humbled. They had come expecting to see old, outdated ships, but what they witnessed was nothing short of miraculous. A taller scientist leaned toward her colleague. They do not seek conquest. Yet the ability to conquer is beyond anything we have ever seen. This is a species that could dominate the galaxy if it chose to. The human admiral overheard the remark, though he said nothing. He knew the galaxy would come to that realization eventually. They had seen the obsolete fleet. They had seen the Ark, and yet the humans held back. They had more to reveal, but restraint was their greatest demonstration. Then the humans activated the final stage of the demonstration. A series of holographic simulations appeared across the Council's observation screens. Ancient battles, long forgotten, replayed in incredible detail. Each human ship's move, every strategy, every maneuver was displayed. Alien observers watched as entire fleets of superior numbers were defeated by the disciplined coordination of humans. The Chiron ambassador's eyes widened. They are ghosts of their past wars. Their experience is embedded into their ships, into their tactics. It is as if history itself fights for them. Yes, said the taller scientist. It is a lesson in strategy, not just power. Every move is calculated. Every outcome considered. The humans have learned from every mistake, every victory, every defeat. That knowledge, it is a weapon. The Varl Dominion ambassador growled, frustration and awe mixed in his deep voice. And they show us this willingly? They could destroy entire fleets, entire systems, and yet they do nothing. That is the point, the human admiral said over the channel. Strength without wisdom is chaos. Humanity has survived because we understand restraint. We show power so the galaxy may respect it, not fear it. We fight only when necessary, and we act only when required. For a long moment, silence fell across the galaxy. Alien fleets hovered, unsure how to respond. They had been prepared for aggression, for arrogance, for weakness. What they had encountered was none of these. They had encountered mastery, wisdom, and a species whose history made it almost untouchable. Finally, the Varl Dominion ambassador spoke. His voice was low, tense, almost reverent. If this is only part of their fleet, what else have humans hidden? The human admiral did not answer directly. He simply watched the galaxy, calm, patient, and unwavering. Let them wonder, he said quietly to his officers. The galaxy is not ready to see everything, but one day, they will understand. The fleet slowly began to withdraw, observing the humans at a cautious distance. Every representative knew one truth. Humanity had changed the perception of the galaxy forever. The obsolete fleet had proven to be more than just relics. They were a statement, a reminder, a challenge. And as the sun of Sol reflected across the massive vessels, shining off their armor and glinting along the edges of the Ark, the galaxy understood something important. Humanity's past was not a weakness. It was a foundation. Their restraint was not hesitation. Their innovation was not arrogance. They had hidden their true power for centuries, and now the first glimpse had been revealed. The young Chiron officer whispered to her superior, voice trembling. Do you think they could truly defeat us all? The taller scientist shook her head. Perhaps, but the humans do not seek war. They seek balance. They do not fight without reason. That is what makes them dangerous in ways we cannot yet measure. The human officer on the bridge looked out at the stars, at the fleets watching them, and said softly, Let them wonder. Let them remember this day. The galaxy is beginning to understand us, but not fully, not yet. And as the obsolete fleet powered down again, engines glowing faintly, formations precise, and the Ark retreated into orbit around Jupiter. One thought filled every mind in the galaxy. If this is only the demonstration, what might the humans be truly capable of? The answer would come in time. But for now, the galaxy could only watch in awe and disbelief, as humanity revealed the hidden power of a species underestimated for far too long. The Sol system had quieted. The human fleet, both ancient and meticulously organized, had returned to orbit around Earth, engines dimmed and weapons offline. The demonstration of power was over, but its impact spread faster than light across the galaxy. Every species that had witnessed the fleet, every observer who had recorded the holographic displays, felt a profound shift in understanding. The Varl Dominion had halted their expansion plans. Their fleets, once aggressive and arrogant, now hovered nervously on the edges of human space. Even the Chiron and Tolar representatives, known for their calm and measured assessments, had changed the way they viewed humanity. The small, seemingly insignificant species from an ordinary planet had become the focus of the galaxy's attention. In the council chambers, discussions turned from laughter to reverence. Alien representatives debated what they had witnessed, each word tinged with awe and caution. "They could have destroyed us all," whispered one Kiran diplomat. "Their obsolete fleet alone." "Yes," agreed a Tolar scientist. "And yet they chose restraint, not because they feared retaliation, but because they understand the value of control." A Varl general growled in frustration, pacing across the deck of his flagship. "We prepared for a battle. We expected weakness, arrogance, defeat. Instead, they have left us in awe. It is maddening." Meanwhile, aboard the human flagship, the Admiral watched the galaxy respond. His officers moved calmly, maintaining the fleet, making repairs and preparing for the next stage, though no one knew what it would be. The humans had not attacked. They had not demanded tribute or loyalty. Their only demonstration was of skill, history, and restraint. "Have we done enough?" a young officer asked. Her voice was quiet, almost reverent. The Admiral shook his head. "Enough for now. The galaxy must understand in its own time. We do not force recognition, we show it. They will come to respect humanity when they are ready, and some may never fully understand us." Outside the fleet, alien vessels moved cautiously. Some maintained observation, while others began communicating with each other, sharing the recordings, analyzing the fleet's capabilities. Reports spread rapidly. Humans were not weak, humans were disciplined, and humans had hidden power far beyond what anyone had imagined. The Kiran ambassador sent a secure communication to her home planet. "Prepare for a new era of diplomacy," she wrote. "The humans are neither primitive nor predictable. They are extraordinary." The Tolar scientists did the same. "Our assumptions about humanity were completely wrong. They are masters of strategy, endurance, and restraint. This is a species we must respect or risk disaster." The Varl Dominion hesitated. Their aggressive ambitions had been checked, not by superior numbers but by skill and discipline. They had faced the obsolete fleet and the Ark, and they realized something chilling. If humanity chose to fight, no empire could withstand them. And yet humanity had not struck. They had demonstrated power, but with mercy. In the days following the demonstration, alien representatives approached human space cautiously. They sent envoys to Earth, offering dialogue, gifts, and pledges of cooperation. Humanity accepted none of the offers of subjugation, none of the demands for alliance. They welcomed conversation, trade, and shared knowledge, but they demanded only one thing: unity. At the Council's next meeting, representatives spoke openly about humans. The laughter of the past was gone. Fear was replaced by admiration and caution by respect. Even the most stubborn empires began to see that humanity was not a threat to the galaxy through aggression, but through example. Strength combined with restraint, one Tolar diplomat said. That is the lesson humanity has taught us. They could conquer any of us, yet they choose cooperation. They have set a standard we must follow. The Varl Dominion ambassador, still tense, admitted aloud, "We misjudged them. They are not primitive, they are masters of survival and discipline. We must adapt our approach or risk destruction." Human leaders aboard the flagship did not gloat. They observed quietly, maintaining order within the fleet. Humanity had shown its capability, its wisdom, and its restraint. That demonstration alone had altered the course of galactic history. A young cadet on Earth's orbital station looked out at the fleet, still in formation around the planet. "Do you think they will ever truly understand us?" she asked her commanding officer. He smiled, his eyes tracing the familiar patterns of the ships. "Not yet," he said. "But one day they will. And when they do, the galaxy will change forever." The fleets outside human space began to slowly withdraw, returning to their home systems. Observers carried the images and data back with them, sharing stories of the obsolete fleet's precision, the Orcs' capabilities, and humanity's unmatched discipline. Every species began to reconsider their assumptions about power, history, and strategy. Trade began cautiously. Diplomatic missions were planned. Alliances were reconsidered. The galaxy had been shown that there was a species small in size, but massive in capability, wisdom, and restraint. Even centuries-old rivalries softened in the presence of humanity's example. Conflicts that might have erupted into war were paused, reconsidered, and often avoided entirely. The humans had not forced peace, they had inspired it. In the Sol system, as the sun reflected on Earth's oceans, the obsolete fleet rested in orbit. Ships of every era stood together, a living testament to humanity's past, present, and potential. The Ark returned to its dormant state near Jupiter, its systems quietly powered down, ready for activation at a moment's notice. The human admiral walked across the bridge of the flagship, watching young officers train, study, and prepare. "One day," he said softly, "the galaxy will understand fully. But for now, it is enough that they respect us. Understanding will come with time." On Earth, celebrations were quiet but profound. Humanity had not conquered. Humanity had not destroyed. Humanity had simply shown what it could do, and the galaxy had taken notice. A child looked up at the sky, seeing the massive fleet silhouetted against the sun. "Are humans really that powerful?" he asked his teacher. The teacher smiled. "Power is not only strength. Power is discipline, knowledge, and choice. Humans have all three, and that is why they inspire the galaxy." In the days that followed, the Council recognized humanity not as a threat, not as an obsolete species, but as an example of what a civilization could achieve: strength without recklessness, mastery without arrogance, history respected, lessons learned, and restraint chosen. Across the galaxy, the story spread. Humans once had fleets considered obsolete, and yet they moved with skill, strategy, and discipline that no one could ignore. They had mastered war, survived centuries, and chosen peace. The galaxy would never underestimate them again. Even the Varl Dominion, once the most aggressive empire, paused to reconsider their next moves. They sent envoys, not warriors. They began to understand that the humans' restraint was a lesson in its own right. In orbit above Earth, the young cadet watched as the fleet powered down completely. "Do you think they will ever reveal everything?" she asked her officer. He chuckled softly. "Not everything. Humanity's strength is also its patience. Some things are revealed only when the galaxy is ready." And so the obsolete fleet remained a silent guardian of Earth, a living proof of what humans could achieve. Their past, their history, and their discipline were now part of the galaxy's consciousness. The final lesson was clear. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not primitive. Humanity had mastered itself, and that mastery, shown in restraint and wisdom, had changed the galaxy forever. As the stars twinkled in the distance, the young cadet whispered to herself, eyes wide with wonder, "Do you think they truly understand us now?" The Admiral smiled, looking at the countless stars beyond the station. "Not yet, but one day they will, and when they do, the galaxy will remember the day humans unveiled their obsolete fleet and left the galaxy in awe. And on that day, history would mark a new era, the era when humanity, small but mighty, had reminded the galaxy that strength is measured not only in weapons or ships, but in wisdom, discipline, and choice. The galaxy had witnessed the lesson. The galaxy was in awe, and humanity had quietly, wisely shown its true power.